Hello everyone. Hi, my name is Alex. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my studio, and welcome to episode 16 of Alex Likes to Knit. This is a series where I just talk about everything that I'm knitting, and that's really it. I'm going to talk about today 3 things that I finished, 3 things that I'm working on, and I might talk about at the end my plan next because I'm almost done with my largest work in progress. If you don't know me, I am an artist and a knitter. I live in San Antonio, Texas. So kind of what's going on here, it's the beginning of April. It's April 2nd. And it's very much spring in San Antonio. It's really starting to warm up quickly. We're still having some cool mornings and it's starting to get really hot in the afternoon, and summer is coming. The relentless heat is almost here. So I'm really starting to think about summer garments and what I want to make next, as I'm almost done with my cardigan that I'm working on. But if you haven't been here before, you may not know, I love to knit socks. So most of what I'm going to talk about is socks, and then at the end I'll talk about this cardigan that I'm working on. So with that, we'll get right into it and talk about some finished socks. Let me grab them. I had these that were a work in progress last week. And I was calling these my Sedona Socks. So we'll call them that. These are the Sedona Socks. And I love them. Turn them this way so that they get the light on them. So why they're called my Sedona Socks, I went on a trip to Arizona close to a month ago now. And I bought some yarn in Sedona, Arizona. I only got 2 mini skeins, so that's pretty good. I didn't have a ton of room in my luggage and everything, and I'm kind of working through my yarn. So I bought this mini skein of this crazy variegated color, thinking, like, I remembered that I had this solid color in my stash, and I thought they'd be really nice together and kind of echo the like red rocks and everything in Sedona. So I did finish these up, and I love them. This is my shorty sock recipe, which I want to go ahead and talk about because I have a bunch more shorty socks that I'm going to be talking about. So for the cuff up here, I knit 56 stitch socks because I have a pretty loose gauge. So I cast on 56 stitches and knit stockinette for 12 rounds. And then I take a piece of fold over elastic. This is a piece that I'm about to attach into a different sock. So let's see. See that? It's like the kind that people use for hair ties, and I sewed it. I hand stitched it together to make just a loop. So I cut 8 1/4 inches is what works for my foot, and then I hand stitch it together to make a loop. So it's called fold over elastic because it easily folds in half. And what I do is I tuck this into that first bit of stockinette and knit my live stitches after my 12 rows, knit my live stitches down to my cast on edge. So I have this pretty clean, it's not beautiful, but it's sewed down and it has this elastic folded over, trapped on the inside. And this just stays really, really well on my foot, and it really is not too tight. They're really comfortable for me. I can wear them all day. I can sleep in them. They're like great for everything, especially for summer here. I don't mind wearing wool socks, but the tall ones just feel like too much, and I feel like they even look like too much whenever it's like super hot, people wearing like sandals and stuff. I need to at least be wearing shorty socks. And I've really perfected my kind of recipe for how I do that cuff. After I do the cuff, I do 3 more rounds in the main color and then do my heel flap and gusset, which is the same thing I do for taller socks. I pretty much always do heel flap and gusset because I have a high instep. so it gives me more room. I do an extra deep heel, so for my 56 round like ankle, I will knit down 18 slip stitch repeats to make kind of an extra deep heel. Do my heel turn pretty normal, and then on my gusset decreases, I decrease every round. And then for the leg of my sock, I usually knit from the end of the decreases to where I start my toe decreases is about 60 rounds. So for all these today, it's going to be 60 rounds. So this one I did 55 in the orange, and then did 5 stockinette rounds in my contrast color before I did my toe, because I do a square toe where you decrease every round on the toe, just because that's so easy for me and I don't mind like the way it looks and feels and stuff. So that is my shorty sock pattern, and these are the Sedona socks. The contrast color, it's from Dream and Color Yarns. This is a merino cashmere nylon base, and this color is called Kyoto Sunset. And my main color here is Cascade Heritage, which is an awesome solid color sock yarn if you like to do color work, or if you're getting into socks and you want something more affordable. It's about $11 a skein for 100 grams. It's available at my local yarn store in a ton of colors. It's also available online a lot of different places. And yeah, like they have so many different colors. So it's really good for like color work and stuff too. If you need to do multiple colors and mix and match, if you're gonna do like sports team, stuff like that. I had gotten this color to do a tomato soup core make along. I thought I was gonna do a hat for that. That is long gone, but I'm so glad that I did use it for this, and I think that it's perfect for these. And I still have a lot left. I haven't weighed the yarn for this. That's something that I want to start doing. On my most recent started thing, I did weigh my yarn a little bit. But yeah, maybe I'll make another pair like this with a different contrast color, or use it for something else. Sedona socks, finished object. On that last episode, I talked about how I want to make myself more shorty socks, like that. So I was like, oh yeah, I can make like 4 pairs before next episode. And I film about every 2 weeks. So I knew, like, as I was editing that, I was like, that's not going to happen. But I did make another pair. Here they are. Oh, these are really cute. They're very Eastery, actually. We just had Easter. I'm not a big Easter person, but looking at these now, they look like an Easter egg. Yeah, so this was another, I did the exact same formula. I just used 2 different contrast colors for the heel and the toe. This main color is Felicini from Knit Picks. And this was like a leftover bit that I had from making a full pair of vanilla socks for my sister. I wanted to make myself some because I really liked the little stripes. Yeah, and then the 2 contrast colors. This one is definitely Cascade Heritage, and this bright yellow. Oh, this is Knit Pick Stroll. I remember what I used this for. I got both of these for like color work projects. So yeah, really cute. Same exact thing, same fit, because I want to make myself a little collection of shorty socks to wear for the summer. So after I had this one going, I realized I really wanted to make a pair of birthday socks for my aunt, which is something I had been kind of thinking about. And I didn't have like a specific idea for a while, but I actually found a pattern that I knew she would like in Summerlee's Sock Project book. So let me grab my book and I can show you. So I don't have my finished object with me anymore because I did give it to my aunt. I gave those socks to my aunt, but let me show you the pattern. And my inspiration here is like, it's very clear. So this is the pattern photo. But these are called the Soma socks, and they are kind of a crew length type of sock. They have a faux cable running down each side of each sock, a texture on the front, and then stockinette on the back and on the bottom. And she does her sample in this like light purple tonal that's tweedy. And I got really excited when I saw that because I had this yarn. Here we go. I had this yarn, which is light green and tweedy. So I'll put up my finished object. I actually took some like footage of kind of looking at them so that you can see that. And my but this is Coast to Coast Yarn Co. So it's a really nice hand-dyed tonal. I love her like earthy colors. My mother-in-law gave this to me for Christmas. And it's a BFL tweed, so it's like 75 superwash BFL, 25% nylon, and then it has the naps. Okay, I'm not sure what the makeup is, but it's mostly superwash BFL. And the color is called Parrot Wax Cap, and I don't know what that means, but I thought this was really cute for spring. It's not like super bright. I think it's still very wearable. And my aunt had told me that she would like, or I was like, oh, if I made you some socks that are more like fancy or like textured or something. And she was like, oh yeah, I would love that. So I made those for her. Now I have plenty left to maybe make myself some shorties or something with this. Oh, I actually did write down how much yarn I used for that. I also got this really cute notebook this week. This was like a belated birthday present from a friend of mine. It's got my name on it. And it's a little project book, and this is so cute. She like ordered this from Etsy. So I was like, I'm gonna start using this immediately, and I put in my works in progress that I had like at that second. So the first thing I put in there was this sock, and then I put in my Soma socks. So let me tell you what notes I have here. My pair of socks weighed 58 grams, and I have 54 grams of yarn left. And then I made notes on what I did different from the pattern because I changed my counts a little bit. She has size small being 56 stitches, so I cast it on 56 stitches, and I followed the directions for the cuff, but I'm not sure what she says to do in there, but I did 20 rounds for the cuff, switched to the leg directions, I did 30 rounds for the leg, and then for the foot, for the heel flap and gusset, I just followed my vanilla sock formula for the heel flap and gusset and kept doing her stitch pattern for the top. And I did 60 rounds in pattern on the leg, and then 5 plain stockinette rounds, and then my square tail. So I kind of changed the structure of it a little bit, but used the pattern, especially for the cuff because it has the faux cables in the cuff, and then for the texture on the top of the sock. So, yeah, super easy, really nice. And I finished those too. Third finished object. Is my phone going off? All right. So those are my 3 finished objects. They're all socks, and no one is surprised. So let's talk works in progress. I have 3. I have 2 socks, and then I have my cardigan. So let's talk socks first. This is kind of a quick one because it's very similar to my other shorty socks. I made these, right? And I love the stripes. It was so cute. And I have a lot of this Spillicini yarn. My parents got me like a Knit Picks order for Christmas last year. And these are so cute. So I also had this one. So I worked on this sock. And I finished the first one. Put on a blocker for you. That'll be nice. And I'm working on the second sock in this pair. Yay! So cute. Did the lime green with this, which is kind of, it's like not in the stripe, but I feel like it matches the vibe The lime green is Knit Picks Stroll Tonal, and then this is Knit Picks Deliciini. Not sure the colorways of these two. Oh, this one is Produce Aisle. This one is Produce Aisle. I'll have to check on this one, and I can put it on the screen. But I made that first sock, and then I'm just working on the gusset decreases in the second sock. And same exact formula. Yeah, this is my yarn in my little zipper pouch, quilted zipper pouch that I made. The Felicini and the Stroll Tonal. These are both full skeins, but I had already wound them. This one I was going to make a sock for my sister that I talked about a few weeks ago. I ended up frogging that one. And this one I was going to make a hat, which I talked about in like a random art vlog thing. I didn't end up doing that. But yeah, since they were already wound, part of like the thing that I was trying to do making all these shorty socks was using some of my leftovers and everything. And I was like, this will be nice because they're already wound. They're already in my like kind of leftover pile because of that instead of with my full skeins. So I can go ahead and use those too. So yeah, making good progress using my leftovers and wound skeins and scraps and everything. And it's making me really happy. Yeah, so not much to say about that one. It's pretty much the same thing. The next one is slightly different. Even though it is another shorty sock using the exact same formula. And I might need to take a break on these after this pair because I ran out of my fold over elastic. So if I'm really set on making another pair like this, I'm going to have to go pick some up from Joann. These are pretty much the same formula, but I'm calling this my secretly scrappy sock. So you can't really see the texture in there because it's just black. But what I did, started the same way. Did my fold over cuff with my fold over elastic in black. Did my 3 rounds in black. Did my heel flap and heel turn and started my gusset decreases in black. What I wanted to do is make an ankle sock where the top is a solid neutral color. So what's popping out of your shoe is like just neutral, just a black sock. But then the rest of the sock is just going to be crazy, scrappy chaos. That is the plan. So I've just put in a few stripes. I finished my gusset decreases right here. I was working on this morning and I was just so excited about it, but I was like, that's a good stopping point before I rearrange my stitches. It's one of my little stitch markers that I made too. It's a little painting. It's a canvas with a little painting. How cute is that? Okay. Yeah, so I'm just doing super scrappy sock yarn. I pulled out some of my smallest scraps, just little baby bits, like Advent leftovers from like using a 20-gram mini for like heel, cuff, and toe, and then also doing a granny square. Like I have like this is from my Advent. It's just a baby. And I have some super small ones that like might do like 2 rows. This is from frogging something, I think. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm just gonna use these. They're not gonna be the same. They'll have the same color like on the top, like they'll both be black, and then just be super scrappy chaos. And I'm super excited about this. I weighed my yarn because I'd love to see how much of the black yarn this uses, because some of my scraps I really like, and I was like, this would be a fun thing to use, like if it's just a little bit that I have left, a color that I really like. It's kind of like having a pair of socks in that color, but you really don't need much of it. Where's my black yarn? This is it. It's just you can't see it at all. It's like a black void. This is Knit Picks Stroll in the color black, and this weighed 27 grams whenever I started the first sock. So I'm just going to make note of that, and then we'll see how much I have left, so I can see what other kind of socks I can make like this. Yeah, so I'm excited for those. Okay, that's all the socks. Now that we have talked about 5 pairs of socks, let's talk about my cardigan. And then I have a plan for when I'm done with my cardigan, because I'm almost done, and we'll talk about that after. So I'm going to put on the cardigan for you, even though it's not quite done. Ta-da! I told you it's almost done. Okay, let me show you kind of where we're at. So I was working on this sleeve last episode, and I finished the sleeve. I marked my decreases. This pattern has like kind of a balloon sleeve type of construction. You just knit straight instead of doing decreases. Do a rapid decrease round and then do the cuff, but I don't really love the look of that. I did see though on one of her pattern photos, this is the Coven Cardi by Shay Johnson. On one of her pattern photos, it doesn't have the balloon sleeve, and I looked at the project page for that version that she made, and she didn't do the decreases at the bottom. I think she just left the end really like big and went down a needle size and just did the cuff, so it didn't cinch in as much. And I liked how that looked, but I still wanted to do a little bit of decreases in the sleeve. So I just kind of made stuff up and like started at some point, did like 8 spaced out, just like single decreases. So it only took out a little bit. And then I didn't do any additional decreases at the cuff. And this is not blocked, of course, so it will look a little bit different and be looser, and probably my ribbing will stretch out whenever I block it. So I started my other sleeve and have got a lot done on this because I'm very excited about it and ready to be on with this project. I'm marking my decreases on here too. I don't want to pull my needles off of my 16-inch circular needles just sitting on there precariously. You know what it was? I think I had finished the sleeve, but I hadn't finished the hem, like the body. But I finished the body. Show you kind of where it's hitting. So weird angle. But yeah, I finished the body. It's like a tiny bit short, but I think it's gonna block out and get a little bit longer. Also, like, I'm adding a button band. I'm going to pick up and add a ripped button band to the front. So this is going to like close, or if I want it to, and it'll still have room. So it's hard to see because of how much it's curling in. But yeah, almost done. So I'm going to finish this sleeve probably like today because it's morning. And there's really not much left to do on here. And then I don't know how long it'll take me to pick up the button band and knit that, but I think it'll be done this week. So I'm excited to be able to wear this a little bit before it gets too hot. Like I said, we are having some like cool mornings and evenings a little bit right now, and that will not last long. So I want to be able to wear it a little bit before summer comes. And then I'm excited to work on summer knits. So yeah, so the pattern. I'm knitting this in Barocco Vintage, which is a worsted weight yarn that is part wool, part acrylic, part nylon. I think this is going to be good for me for something that I wear all the time. It's just going to be really hard wearing. It's going to be easy to wash and everything. And I think that's going to be perfect for me. It's thick and warm, but it's not crazy. The store-bought cardigans that I wear mostly now are obviously a thinner yarn, but they're like color work. So they're pretty dense and heavy. So this, being worsted weight but being stockinette, actually has a pretty similar feel to what I'm used to from my store-bought cardigans. So yeah, I'm excited for next episode. I'm gonna do one next week if I can. I've been doing every other week, but I'm thinking like if I finish that up and start my next large project, it'll make sense to do another one next week. I can talk about the fit and like more of the whole process and everything. And I'm excited to be done. I'm excited to wear it. I'm excited to start something else. It's just exciting. I've been working on that for a long time, and I'm ready to get going. So yeah, that is all of my finished objects and all of my works in progress. So not too bad, not too long. I do want to share, if you want to stick around for a minute, what I am going to do next. Whenever I'm done with this cardigan, because I'm thinking next week or next episode I will have started this. I want to show you what I'm starting with. There was a while this past year where I didn't do my videos for like months because I was finishing up school. And I made this during that time, and it's just kind of a fail finished object. So let's look at it. Let's see. This is the front. This is a Tolsta tee. It's cute. It's way too short. So it's like super cropped because I ran out of yarn. Because I did not use my brain and I didn't have enough yarn. And I should have known that. I just didn't. I was using fingering weight held double. This is the DK weight pattern. And it didn't occur to me. Like I knew that you could do this pattern with 2 skeins of DK weight yarn. And it didn't like cross my mind that 2 skeins of fingering weight held together is less yardage than 2 skeins of DK weight yarn. I don't know. Yeah. So it's not long enough. I kind of played with the idea of maybe I'll just wear it when I'm like at the beach. Maybe I'll just wear it under overalls or stuff like that. And I tried it on a few different ways. Under overalls is not terrible, but the sleeves are also too short. It's kind of a cap sleeve and they kind of stick out weird, and I don't like that either. So I think even in that scenario, it's still not great. And I really like this yarn. This is a fingering weight 100% cotton yarn that's hand dyed by Fleur de Stitch in Baton Rouge. And I want it to be something that I actually want to wear. So I'm going to unravel this finished object, and I'm going to make a new Tolsta tee. Rebecca Clow, the designer of the Tolsta tee, does have a fingering weight Tolsta tee pattern. But I think what I want to do is bring this into my local yarn store and find a coordinating color that's also fingering weight and hold this yarn double with like a sock yarn, like a wool nylon blend. And make a new Tolsta tee that's similar to this, but a slightly different marled type of color and longer. Yeah, that's really it. I really just wanted to show you what this looks like, how short it is, how silly it is, and the color that I'm getting from this, because I know I'm not going to find like a color match to this like silver gray green color. So I'm going to bring this into my yarn store and see what is going to work with it. Maybe it'll be a green, maybe it'll be gray, maybe it'll be tan. I want something that's going to be a low contrast marl, but I don't know what they're going to have, so we will see. I'll probably go with like a Cascade Heritage or something like that, because it's pretty affordable, and I already spent a lot of money on this yarn, because this is 2 skeins of hand dyed, so this was like $60, so maybe like $20 more, which is crazy for a t-shirt, but that's what I want. That's what I want to do. Also, it's kind of like a girl math thing where I paid for this a long time ago and I already enjoyed knitting it, so it's like free yarn at this point. So get a little bit more, make a new Tolsta tee. And that is my first summer thing that I'm gonna make. And I have a feeling that it's gonna go pretty quickly. So I'm kind of dreaming up what else I want to make this summer too. Other things coming up are just more socks. I'm gonna make some birthday socks for some friends. I have some skeins picked out for just some vanilla socks for friends, and that's kind of it. I'm also thinking about setting up my sewing stuff again soon. I have some sewing projects that I've been wanting to work on, and I have my sewing machine completely put away. That's my sewing machine up there in that white, that's this case thing. And I put it away so that I could really focus on my business, like at my desk and everything, and have a good, clear workspace and all that. And I do like having my desk clear, but I also do have just a ton of yarn on my desk. I have all my leftovers and scraps kind of in the corner and kind of everywhere. So I think if I clear off my desk, I could have my sewing machine set up and still move it back to be able to do regular work stuff during the day and do some sewing in the evenings. So I'm thinking about maybe trying trying to sew some summer garments for myself. I don't have a lot of experience sewing garments. I've tried a few times. And that's something that if I do get into that, I'll be sharing it here on Alex Likes to Knit. I love whenever people talk about their sewing adventures, because it's all kind of related, like hand making your own clothes, like wanting them to go together, wanting to emulate like a certain style and making things that fit. Even if you don't sew, that connection is very clear. And so, yeah, you might be seeing a little bit of sewing next time. I do have some fabric for like some little bags that I definitely have some like zipper pouches. I have like the fabric already cut, the zipper already picked out, like all that. So maybe I'll kind of make those as a warm up. I can show those next time and see if I feel like diving into sewing this spring and summer. That is all the knitting. That's it. I'll give you a little bit of a catch up on my life and my art really quickly before I go. Since the last episode, I have gone to Big Bend National Park on a trip. I went backpacking with some friends and my partner. We did Outer Mountain Loop, if you're familiar with the park. It's like the most popular backpacking, it's kind of the only like backpacking route in Big Bend. It's a big loop, like 32-ish miles. So we hiked that and camped 3 different nights. It was really beautiful. We got really lucky on the weather. One afternoon it did get really hot, but for the most part it was kind of overcast and cool. The morning was cold. It was really, really good for camping, and we really enjoyed it. Actually, no big travel or anything planned for April, which is good. I do have a lot going on with my business in April. I have multiple markets, and I'm doing a painting competition on April 18th. I'm going to be like competing against other local artists, and we have 2.5 or 3 hours to paint a painting, a 2-foot by 3-foot painting, and then the public or the audience will be voting on like winners and finalists, and then we're going to do it again the next week and make another painting. So I've been thinking about that a lot, about what I want to do for that, but that's really exciting. And I have prints available in my shop, so shameless plug. If you like art and you want to buy some of mine, I'll show you just a few. Like, we're not going to make it a whole big thing, but since they're right here, these are a few of my prints. So that's kind of what they look like. This one's called Poppies. This is an 8x10 digital print of one of my paintings. And these are available on my website now. So the larger size, the 8x8 and 8x10, which is what this one's 8x10, are $20. And then the smaller ones, like this one, are $10. This is one of my, it's really similar to this one right above my head, but it's actually, this is from a different painting. I'll show you a few more. grapefruit. Everyone loves the grapefruit. That's definitely been in my background before. Yeah, chrysanthemum. Deer. A strawberry. Yeah, and there's more too. So I don't want to spend much time on that. I know you're here to see my knitting. So yeah, I am excited to have those prints done and ready and on my website. It was a lot of work to get all of that organized and ready, but I wanted to have it ready for these spring markets that I'm doing starting in a few weeks. So yay, I did it. And I also thought it would be perfect to have it ready for my April newsletter, which I sent out yesterday, to be able to say, hey, my prints are ready in my newsletter. So that was good. And anything else? I'm teaching a workshop at the end of the month on April 25th. I'm teaching an acrylic painting workshop that I'm excited about. It's going to be specifically about working from photos. So I'm going to have people bring in an 8x10 printed photo. We're going to transfer kind of a basic outline, the large shapes onto the canvas, and then talk about color mixing, color matching, and proportion, and just kind of my general process for how I get a pretty photorealistic look. And I think that the process really is pretty straightforward. So I think that people are going to come away with something that they didn't think they could do, which is going to be really fun. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link to that below. If all this art stuff is interesting to you, I have art videos here on YouTube, and I would strongly encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. If you go to my website, alexhayschapel.com, linked below always, down at the bottom of the page, or there will be a pop-up. Put in your email and you'll get an email from me every month, right at the beginning of the month, with all this same news about what's going on, markets, workshops, other events like this paint battle thing, new products. Get on my newsletter if you want to hear about my art. That's the best way to be in the know. Yeah, sorry, I kind of talked a lot about that, but a lot of good things going on with the art business, and life is good. Happy springtime. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and go. Like and subscribe if you are feeling generous. Maybe leave me a comment. Let me know what you're working on, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.